So going back to that,
COVID was a force majeure, different kind of a crisis. But you face crisis every day. Some state is not performing. Some team is not performing. Some brand is not doing well. Somewhere your outstanding is more. Somewhere your stock is more. Somewhere you're doing everything right, but still there is no pull. So you got to catch those early signs and go back to the situational leadership. Okay, fine. I had delegated. I think delegation is I have to go back to probably coaching or probably being on this side and telling him, hey buddy, go ahead and do it. I am behind you. Even if you fail, don't worry, I'm there. That's like supportive, participative and supportive. So you should know which stage, and this comes with experience, this comes with training, this comes with as you move across people do it all the time, trust me.
I mean, it's a good point as well. As a leader, we always have to embrace constant change. While you are embracing it, it's important to go back to your winning formula that you have built. So on that note, Mr. Manish, I'm very interested in how you build a culture. Like, how would you describe your company's culture?
Okay. See, culture is, to simply and loosely put it, it's the way you build your organization. And every organization probably doing the same thing is built on a different culture. And it is never right or wrong, whether this culture is right, that culture is wrong, or this culture is not correct. People keep on talking and comparing. Don't do that. There are companies who get bombarded by, or that they have a hire and fire culture. It suits them. It brought them success. Leave it. There are some who believe in a different kind of a culture, but they believe in more participation. So there are some which I believe have grown only on passion. Some have grown on love. Some have grown. So there are different ways people build their organization from startup. The only thing which we as leaders have to remember, that whenever either we go to a different company or somebody else comes in, we have to ensure that we allow the person to do his or her role without tinkering with the culture of the organization by the way it was built. That is very important. Let me put it this way. We have gone from a family run to a family owned, professionally run, and now we have a very marquee investor in the company, and I have moved out from the NDC with the full professional team out there. So my role is just to keep, I'm the cultural conscious keeper. That's my role. I ensure, as you keep on growing, targets become tough.
Yes.
Become stiff. Everything becomes very, very measurable. Everything is cut and dry. To take this, to discharge this. Why do you do this? And I'll be a part of that too. You should do that. That's a necessity. But how do you ensure that you do it in the framework, with the culture in which you are built? And to build that culture, it takes time. Culture is not something which is built in one day, or it can change in one day. It takes time, and it takes a lot of maturity, a lot of understanding, a lot of support from your board and your leadership team to understand and then fit in them. And there has to be a conscious keeper. So if you talk about HRIPL, the biggest one of our values is grow together. And we walk the talk. And that's why if you see, we have been awarded in 5 years in a row as a great place to work in all the segments. Whenever I ask my HR comes and sir, we have got the great place to work award, I said, great. Tell me what was the happiness quotient. Has the happiness quotient increased from what it was last year? Maybe by 1 point. It's okay. It has to keep on increasing. Now, happiness quotient does not mean that you're not strict. Happiness quotient does not mean that you do not, take action against the non-performers. For viewers, any organization, you should have a vision, which is like sky. We say sky is your vision. You should build infrastructure on the earth, which you remain on earth and you build the infrastructure on earth. Then, when you have done that, you build processes which flows like water in this vision and in the infrastructure. Then you should have passion like fire. You should create that fire in your team, and that's passion. Once you do all that, culture is the air which flows seamlessly between each and every division, department, person of an organization. So if you would have realized, they are the 5 elements by which you are built, we call as sky, earth, water, fire and air. So if you keep that in mind, things will.
I really love the analogy, by the way, and in a nutshell, what I got it is culture is like a wind, right? It is invisible, but it can be seen and felt.
You breathe culture.
Yes.
You should create an organization where people can breathe culture. Once they enter into your organization, they should be able to breathe it. You can breathe stiffness, you can breathe strictness, you can breathe happiness, you can breathe comfort, you can breathe whatever. But that's the way you are done.
And it goes back to the fact, one of your core values, right? Grow together. And I think that's something I got good takeaway as well. In one of your core values is a grow together. So going back to on the same question, right, Mr. Manish, often I see many companies struggle, right? When you started with a company, I could imagine, right, with the 20 people, when you're growing to 100 to 200, when you are growing, right, maintaining the same culture often becomes challenging, right? Sustaining the same culture. And it goes back to the fact that you mentioned, right, aligning. Are there any specific examples that you could share, like whilst you're growing, or specific programs that you as a leader, I know I'm taking your journey back 10, 15 years now, but I'm just trying to understand some best practices that you followed, which one could learn, or what has worked for you, especially kind of as you're growing, maintaining and the same culture.
See, I think during start of the interview, I said that the vision of the organization has to be clear. And if it is the organization's vision and not your vision, then you have hit the ball out of the park. It's a huge 6. Now, how do you ensure that the vision is not yours and it is the organization's vision? Let me give you an example. Around 16 years back, when we were decently poised in our company and we were doing good, I realized that the team is growing very fast. Now, there were times when I knew names and telephone numbers of each and every one of my sales staff. So much so I knew names of every colleague of mine in the factory who used to work on the shop floor. I knew everybody's name also. Because we all had gone together. And we all grew together. Some of them, they were very, very close to me, are close to me. Some have gone in their journey, gone. But still, they were my colleagues. So I did not know how to, build this. Somehow I will cut the chain and get to the point, is that I met 2 good professors of IIM. And I told them, during one of the talks, that, this is the issue which I am facing. They said, okay, fine, done. Let us come and meet you in the office. And they came and we had a chat, and they sat with me for 2 sessions of 2 hours each and so on. And they said, we know what to do. I said, okay, fine, great. That's what I wanted an answer. They said, your company now requires the right vision and the right core values and the mission. Great, I have it. Let's do this. Pick up your core team and let's have an immersive session for 6 or 7 immersive sessions in the span of 4 to 5 months. Done. And we huddled up, and obviously a team of 26, 27, I don't remember right now. was picked up the leadership team, and these is the core, they are going to take the company to the different level, and we all went to Ahmedabad. And I was along with them, my mother, my brother, my wife, and the team, other 25 people, we all went. So in the family run business, everybody was involved. We all went. Okay, fine. And then they told me, okay, fine, Manish, great. Now we will start the session. But you please go back to Bombay. I said, what? He said, no. You cannot be. I said, why? No. You cannot be at all. That's the one thing. You cannot be a part of this session. I said, no, you cannot be. I have to listen to their professors, they are my gurus. I respect them, and we never question a guru. We never question a question. We never question a question. We say, okay, fine, done. I came back and the team stayed back. And then one session, two sessions, they would go every weekend, two weekends in a month. 4 months passed. 3-4 months passed. Then in the last, they said, now we are closing. Manish, come. In the last session of 2 days, I went there. And they said, now they divided the people into different teams, and they said, now you all are ready. Let's define the 5 core values for HRIPL, and let's write the vision statement. And all 5 of them were given this job at 10:30 in the night after dinner. And the professor said, we'll come at sharp 5:30 and you have to present. So whole night everybody is, working and writing their own. Everybody is, and English is a funny language. Everything means the same, but different adjectives came out. And exactly at 5:30, we all huddled back with a cup of coffee in the room. And then everybody was told to present. And that's the magic. The vision statement and the values came not top down. It came from
The field.
From the team. They decided the values. We decided the values. We decided the vision. So it became our vision. It became our mission. Then, this is history. We went on growing and growing.
I mean, that's an amazing example. In fact, thank you for sharing for that. Yes, exactly. And it came from the team, and no wonder why your company, right, scaling on a double-digit growth year on year, on the fact because the team had that collected vision.
We believe in bottom up.
Yes.
There are a few things which we do top down. The one thing that we did top down was automation, and coming out from your paper, pen, and Excel sheets to automation, because technology is generally has to be forced in the blood of your team. But now things have changed. So there are some things, integrity is top down. There's no compromise. Very few. Rest all should be bottom. Targets, bottom up. Annual operating plan, bottom up. They own it. That's the way you have to work.
And I think it's interesting you said as well, Mr. Manish, and especially in today's, going back to that, right? In today's dynamic and diverse work environments, how does your leadership team ensure that your workforce remain engaged and motivated and productive? Because if your employees are not engaged and motivated, it becomes difficult for you to scale your business as well, right? So are there any specific things or programs that you run within your organizations that one can learn from a best practice standpoint to ensure that your employees are engaged and motivated and being productive, most importantly?
There's a simple rule if you follow, and that is expectation setting.
Yes.
And both things. If you are clear, if you tell your colleague, these are my expectations from you, and you ask him, what is it that you expect from me? If those expectation settings are very properly done, then there is no scope for failure. Because everybody knows what is expected out of them. So that's one simple rule if you follow. Expectation setting. The other thing which you should be always careful of is understanding the difference between Roles and designation. Role is internal, designation is external. You will find the same person being called as a territory sales manager, same person in a different organization will be called an area sales manager, the same person in a different organization will be called a sales officer. But the role probably is the same. So once you have clarity on what is your role and what is your designation in external, people get caught up. I want senior manager, sir. I have not become a general manager, sir. I have not become this. But what's the point in just giving a designation if the role doesn't change? So you have to have expectation setting rights, and whenever you are doing something, don't do it just on the face of it, because nobody is a fool out here. Explain the role to him. Don't cheat your employee, he will not cheat you. If you keep these things in mind, your team will always be engaged towards the common vision and that year's mission or that 2 years mission, and they will keep on engaged. And then obviously all those are given things which you do for your staff. You have different things which you do, different activities. You have a proper learning and development. See, if the expectations are clear. So if somebody comes and tells me, sir, blah, 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 my expectation is I want to understand that I am very weak and I want to become an ASM. Fine, done. That is your expectation. Now it is my job to prepare you for that. So in the learning and development program of the HR, his or her name is put. Because that is his expectation from the organization. You are expecting what? Give me this target, outside it should be so much, this should be so much, so many range selling, so many lines should be sold. You always talk expectations in terms of targets. If you ever asked your employee what is his expectation, what is his career path which he wants to grow to, and if he has said it, what have you done to prepare him for that? These are small things. Listen, but also do. Act. HRs and leaders, if they ask their team, what is it that you are expecting from you, please note it down. Find out that one thing which will value add to the personal growth of your colleague, and then do it. Even if it means, let me give an example. There's a group we got to know that they wanted to run the marathon. So we had a separate training session to train those people how to prepare for marathon. Now it has got nothing to do with my target, it has got nothing to do with my number, it has nothing to do with my outstanding grades and nothing. But that's the value addition which you do to your colleague. Because then your colleague respects you, because you are value adding in his or her life. Everything is not give and take. Keep life simple, man. Keep what you will do for your child, keep what you will do for your friend.
So, setting clear expectation. In fact, I was one of the main reasons, if you look at the employees get disengaged, right, is not having clear expectations. And you hit the nail there. You hit the nail in a way, because setting clear expectations, having that direction and meaning in terms of their role, feedback, right, is what going to help them to excel in what they do and how you do. And these are amazing insights. Now we want to know more about you as a person, just Manish. And we have two fun questions. Like every leader has got some personal habit or best practice they follow diligently, right? So we wanted to understand, or could you please share any habit or personal practice that you diligently followed or maintained throughout your life to remain focused or being effective in your role, in whatever role you did, right?
So, first of all, again, I'm telling you, what I did at different stages of my life differed. And one thing which remained very common all throughout was family time. That's number one. Number two is I also have this habit of reading a lot.
Okay.
And I exercise at least 1 hour a day, every day. Sundays is a stroll, walk. Otherwise, I ensure that I exercise every day. But that has been a routine only the last 10 years. पहले तो time ही नहीं मिलता था. And one thing which last 15 years is which I realized is that as you go professionally, if you do not have personal growth, which I mean you grow personally, and here I'm not saying grow religiously. That's not what I'm trying to say. If you do not have personal growth, which can be put as spiritual growth, and it doesn't do with religion. I'm a Hindu, I'm married to a Catholic, my daughter is married to a Gujarati, I'm a Punjabi actually, so for me everything is human beings, all good. But if you do not grow spiritually, then there is a chance that the weight of success might put you down. But if you parallelly start growing now, spiritually also, so you are growing like this and your success is happening like this. This is you. It can weigh you down. But if you grow spiritually, now it gets balanced. And now you are growing together. So what happens is your ability to take decisions which do not allow you to deviate from your moral compass becomes much more strong. Not that you don't make mistakes, not that you don't hurt anybody. We are human beings. We do things. But by and large, if you maintain your moral compass and you do that, discipline is very important. Getting up on time, sleeping on time, giving time to your family, picking up a hobby. I'm a DJ.
I mean, these are amazing, Manish, in terms of, many often or not, many people do struggle in terms of managing that, maintaining that balance, right? Personal and professional. It's great that you kind of have a clear distinction, right? In terms of giving your time for your family as well as you growing it professionally as well. So finally, I would love to, what advice you would give to a younger version of yourself if you had to give an advice?
If I have to advise myself,
Younger version of Manish.
I would say I would have educated myself much more.
Okay.
Education is something which I think plays a very important role in personal growth. Well, let me into the context. I'm a pharmacist. I immediately after my pharmacy in Pune College, I joined business. So I could not get a professional, I could not do post-graduation MBA, nor could I do any management course and so on and so forth. And I sincerely believe that if I would have done that, okay, I didn't have the legacy, I didn't have the time to do it, or didn't have the privilege to do it. Because for me, survival was the purpose at that point. So I didn't have the legacy to go and study and do otherwise. I wouldn't have the money also to pay for that college. That's a different story. I'm not getting there. And if I would have done some correspondence course or done something, see, book and through education you learn a lot of theory.
Yes.
Yes, it is theoretical. People say theoretical, and then people say experience beats theory. Blah 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 blah. You would have heard that, which is true. Experience complements theory. Now, if I would have known a few ways of doing things in marketing and sales management, I wouldn't have made a few mistakes which I did in my journey. And the only thing that would have happened is this journey would have shortened. But I am today, probably I would have been 4-5 years back. So you should have done that correspondence course when you got the chance.
So is that having that continuous learning and development as an habitual habit would make a lot of difference in one's career and as well as in their personal life as well. It's amazing. So, look, thank you, Manish, for sharing your insights. There's so many key takeaways, right from being, as from a leadership standpoint, being a situational leader to even that 4-step formula that you spoke about, right? As kind of an approach, as a philosophy that if you follow that, having that directive, that coaching mindset and participative, and then, right, that continuous journey, if you follow that, and I think it is going to help a lot of aspiring leaders right? Aspiring managers who want to become leaders. And we also talked about one of your core value as how do you grow together, right? That kind of differentiated and kind of build your culture, right? And finally, what about you as a person? You gave a great advice how not only you're growing, it's very paramount for you to maintain your personal and as well as professional life, and combined with your continuous learning and development, then sky becomes the limit for you, right? These are amazing takeaways for us, Manish, and thank you for sharing your
You
yes.
have a good experience. You are in a different stage of life. What worked for Tom does not necessarily works for Jerry. And as they say, different strokes for a different ball. The technique remains the same though. So understand the spirit of the discussion and apply it only when necessary and when you think it is the right thing to do. So each one to yourself, you are your own leader.
That's absolutely, and I think that was the purpose for me starting up this as well, in a way, to share your version of the story. What took HRI to become what they become, right? And it did happen in 5 years or 10 years. It's a decade after decade, and learning from the man behind that success, and of course his team that he has built, right? It's a great learning for us, and it's a great learning for viewers as well, and even for if any aspiring people who wants to join HRI, they know what kind of culture they're getting into, they know amazing the professional development they're going to have, and it's an opportunity to work in a world-class organization. So brilliant. Thank you, Manish, for sharing your tips, and I really wish you great success, and once again I really appreciate for taking your time to talk to me.
Pleasure is all mine.